Hello, my name is Abigail Nickel, and I'm a student journalist at the University of Oklahoma. Yesterday, I had the amazing opportunity to have an exclusive sit-down interview with the Houston Astros second baseman, Jose Altuve. Here's a look at our conversation. Thank you for doing this, by the way. Thank you for sitting down and taking time out of your day. So, I was going to ask you first about baseball aside, how was your holiday, and do you have any holiday traditions that you do with your family or any of that?
Yes, the 24th of December, we need to sit down and have a dinner and all together as a family. And then obviously the very next day, just open all the gift that we give each other and for the kids, but as a family.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know that you travel a lot. So where would you say is your favorite place to travel?
That's a really hard question. If I have to say one place, I will say Los Roques. It's a island back home in Venezuela, and the water is just blue as it can be. So that's, I think, our number one destination.
That's awesome. So now getting into these questions, how do you prepare mentally and physically for a season?
Yeah, okay, physically, I have a routine that I do every year that it takes a lot of stuff on the gym, working out. It takes a diet that I stay away from some stuff and focus more on other ones that's going to get me ready physically for the season. And mentally, I think that's probably the biggest challenge because it's a very long season and we do it every day. So what I try really to work on it is just be focused on one game at a time. So I start from spring training, and when the season starts, just focus on one game, number one, and not the 100, and one game. Just be on the present and focus on what I can control.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think is the most important quality you think a team needs to succeed?
I'll say the chemistry, the relationship between each other is probably, for me, the most important thing. You can be very talented and have a lot of good players, but if there's not chemistry and good relationship, good communication, I don't think a team can win and succeed.
Yeah, that's good. What's the hardest part of being a professional athlete, both on and off the field?
There is a lot of pressure, I think, on and off the field, but just the fact, like I said, we play every day in different ballparks, at front of different fans. It's just put yourself in a lot of pressures, in a lot of high tension situations. So probably that's the biggest challenge. And then off the field, it's just being away from your family so many days during the year. I'll say that.
Yeah, so what advice would you give young athletes that are hoping to be where you are, dealing with the mental challenges of being in the public eye in high pressure situations?
Yeah, no, trust yourself, and obviously we got to work hard every day. When you in those situations, you just gotta breathe and believe in yourself. I think that's what it has worked for me through the years when I really want to be in that situation, and I believe I can do it.
Yeah. So how do you what do you do to unwind during the off season? What are your hobbies? What do you do to get your mind off of things?
Yeah, I really like to spend time with the family, travel. I like to grill some steaks, and my daughters, they like when I cook steaks for them. So for me, spending time with the family, enjoying going to the beach, going to a restaurant and having a nice dinner, for me is the best hobby and the best way to spend time.
Yeah, so what is something about you that you think most fans don't know?
I don't know. I think at this point they know pretty much everything. Yes.
That's fair. Okay. So what is the best piece of advice you've ever received, and how has it impacted your life?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice came from my dad, and he said it's okay not to be the most talented, but it's not okay to be. It's okay to be not the most talented, but you have to be the one that worked the most.
Yeah.
So
if you could write a letter to your younger self when you first made it to the MLB, what would you tell him about the journey ahead, both the challenges and the rewards?
yeah, good question. I'll say just stay focused. Baseball is kind of like a baseball season and a baseball career is like a roller coaster, sometimes up and downs. So just stay calm when it's down and stay focused when it's up. Sometimes when you doing too good, you stop working and focusing. I think those are the times where you need to focus more. And when you're down, not doing so good, you stay positive and calm. I think that'll be kind of like a letter, a piece of advice to myself.
That's awesome. And kind of piggybacking off of that question, what would you want the next generation of baseball players to take away from your career, not just in terms of skill, but in terms of character and work ethic?
Yeah, just a guy that show up every day to play hard. I think you can be very talented but not work really hard, like I said a minute ago. Or you can be a guy that just show up every day and give everything you have. I want to go home and look back and say, okay, that was everything I had, and not the opposite what or people think, oh, he could do better. Yes, we all can do better, but the effort is always need to be there. You got to give everything you have for what you do, and especially if you love what you do.
Yeah. And what does success mean to you, not just as a baseball player, but as a person?
Success is, I think success is to have, for me, the opportunity to do what I love. I always wanted to be a baseball player and play the game, and I think every time I go and put a uniform, having success. And outside of that, it's just to be with my family. I feel like we're together and I'm doing what I love. That for me is success.
That's awesome. So what would you say is your biggest success of this past year?
Last year, I played 155 games. So I think the fact that I stay healthy all year round, coming from a big injury the year before,
Definitely.
was my biggest success. That's something I'm really proud about at this point here.
So how would you say you've grown in this past year?
I think every year I learn stuff, but especially last year playing and staying healthy, coming from a big injury, helped me to realize that it doesn't really matter how bad the weather looks, it's always gonna get better, and we can overcome stuff. It doesn't matter what it really is if we really want to overcome that.
Yeah. Okay, my last question for you is, how do you feel going into the spring training with unfamiliar and familiar faces?
Yeah, I feel excited about, I want to say kind of like a new team, because we have a lot of new players and we lost some, but really excited because I know the chemistry is still going to be there, that we're getting some good players, and we're still a good team. So we stay healthy, I know we're going to have a good run.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.